Hello, freak bitches. Can you see me? Can you see me? I'm looking a bit blurry. Anyways, I was just having a great conversation with a friend who I was assuming speaks Arabic because Google told me yesterday that in Syria people speak Arabic because I had no idea. And it turns out she doesn't even live in Syria, she lives in Serbia. It's like, fucking hell. Am I that uneducated? Am I like some stupid person from the US who thinks the capital of Europe is Amsterdam because of the capital A? Well, that doesn't really nail it, but kind of gets close to it. Like, I don't even know where Serbia is or Syria, even though I'm living in Germany. But my geographic skills were never great. I was traveling a lot and I've been to a lot of places in the world. But my geographic skills are like total crap. And the whole reason why I'm here right now is because I really felt the call to do a Facebook Live. That's all. Bye. No, that's not all. That's actually not all at all. I had some massive insights lately around the whole thing of talking and voice. And I'm talking about lately. When I'm saying lately, I just mean like literally, bitchily 5 minutes ago. So if you want to hang out for a bit, you might want to get yourself a coffee or a tea or something like that. And whoever is watching there, hi! Do you have a name? Do you want to tell me your name? My hair looks like a fucking mess. I do not like it at all. And that was how I felt about my voice most of my life. I did not like it at all. The main reason for that being is because in school, like when I was, well, not really that little, I was a bit bigger than this. It was in middle school, like 5th grade, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, 5th, 6th grade. Like, kids were laughing about me all the time. Like, every time I opened my mouth, kids started laughing. And I had no idea why that was, or what the fuck that was about, because no one ever said anything to me. And not only did I think there was something wrong with me for the longest time, but I also thought because of their reaction to me, to my voice, there was something fucking wrong with my voice. And I always thought that my voice sounds really strange or like really funny in a way. And that turned into somewhat of a, I guess, self-fulfilling prophecy, because what you focus on expands. Why does it say my battery is low? My phone is plugged into the fucking socket. Okay, so yeah, what you focus on, that expands, and how you see someone, somebody, that is what that person becomes. And how you see yourself as well, it works both ways. How you see yourself, that's how you become. If you think of yourself like an awful piece of shit, that's the energy you carry about yourself. If you think about yourself as the most beautiful being that has ever walked this planet, that's how you actually walk around. Yeah, so I had massive issues with my voice, and the last time I remember encountering that was in 2019, November. And something happened. I'm not even sure when that was, when that first happened, but like people started telling me that there is something about my voice that my voice sounds really soothing to them, or my voice is, what did they say? What the fuck did they say? I'm having a total brain freeze right now. I felt like my voice sounded really gentle, soothing, calming was one other thing I remember. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I was like still, I didn't have that much of a beef anymore with my voice, but it was still like, yeah, I don't know what that is and what this is all about. And I don't understand why my phone is not charging even though it's plugged in. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, I hope it does now. By the way, whoever's watching there, if you've got any questions or want to say anything, do not hold back, because that's not good for you. It's not healthy. That's what I've been doing for most of my life, holding back in all sorts of ways. And yeah, this voice thing is one big piece of that. And I really got into the habit of not talking much. Exactly because of that. And at some point I even thought I didn't have anything to say. And I was telling myself that story so often that I really believe that I do not have anything to say or anything to have, no sorts of contribution whatsoever to make to whatever. And I said that in a post not long ago, that when I'm not feeling good about myself, I'm not really feeling like myself, I don't even want to talk. It's like I cannot stand hearing my own voice when I'm out of alignment. And I can totally hear that in other people's voices when they're out of alignment, and it's almost like physical pain to me. It's not like it's unbearable, but I hear that on a deep cellular level. And I just realized in that conversation that I had with this very special friend that I feel like there's still some residue left about people laughing about me. When I open my mouth and say something. And I still, to this day, do not know what that actually was about, because nobody ever said anything to me. But yeah, it was like this bing moment where you're like, oh, it feels like that's what it actually is. And I've been saying so many times, oh, I want to do more Facebook lives, and recently realized that it realized, not from a headspace or a mental space, but like really it dropped into my body, which is the whole point of embodiment, that it is a very different energy when people read my posts or when people actually see me animated and moving my head and my lips and sound coming out of my mouth and me talking and just breathing. That is a very different experience. And that I'm actually fucking hilarious very often, and that doesn't really translate in my posts that much unless I'm really going into the sarcasm of it all, the hilarious things about life, which are not hilarious at all, but when you have a broader perspective, like you see the bigger picture and it all just becomes a big fucking joke, just like Tony Robbins. Yeah, we were talking about Tony Robbins, and I realized I have some fucking beef with Tony Robbins, even though I've never met him in person. I mean, that guy is just like, his signature energy is like, I fucking scream whenever I do anything, even if I do not, even if I do not open my mouth, I'm screaming. I'm screaming all the time. And that creates the same physical response in me that I just mentioned before, like when people are out of alignment. I'm really curious how much of a thing that is, that people perceive that via other people's voices. For me, it's like obvious as fuck. And Tony Robbins, when you just hear him like say, not, it doesn't even take a sentence, but just like one single word, and his voice is just so fucked up from all that screaming. And I find that astonishing. I find that shocking, astonishing, and I'm like, whoa, how does he even still have a voice? You know what I mean? And as I said, like, people kept saying to me, oh, your voice is so soothing, and you've got such a lovely voice, and blah, 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 blah. And that started to happen as soon as I had not this beef anymore with my voice, but was okay with it. And I actually like how my voice sounds now. I'm actually fucking digging it. And for the longest time, I have felt like I need to do something with this. And it's really vague. It is not clear what this thing is, what it wants to be, or I cannot really see what it wants to be. I have a sense of like talking to someone and then listening to their voice and then doing something with that, like having a conversation, and it feels like it's about relationships. And you tell me something about you and your particular situation that you're in, about relationships with somebody else or relationship with yourself, and to really zone into that just through the instrument of voice, and that there is some adjustment that needs to be made. I talked to someone today where that was like so fucking obvious, and it was like this woman was talking in the voice of a child. Just to give you like a very simple example, she sounded like a fucking child, like 5 years old, and I don't know how old she is, like maybe 40 or something. And I was like, just the first second I heard that voice, I was like, she's just like hiding behind this image that she's projecting out there. Like, oh, I'm just like a little child and I'm not gonna do you any harm and I'm not really powerful and you don't have to be scared of me. I'm like a nice girl. I'm a nice girl and I love to play and you don't have to take me serious at all. Yeah, I'm not really taking myself serious at all and I'm just fucking scared of being who I truly am. My real power that's like really translating through the voice. And my friend was just saying, well, voice training should be mandatory. And I was like, yeah, there's like fuck ton of exercises for the body and anything you can imagine, anything you cannot imagine. Like there's swimming and running and there's gyms people go to and lifting weights and shit, but we use our voice like every day in it. And his hair is still like annoying me. We use our voices all the time, but nobody tells us how important or what kind of important role our voice really plays. And how we speak things into existence. Like words are literally spells. That's why it's called spelling, in case you didn't know. And that's another thing I just want to throw in here briefly. That for the longest time I felt like I was fucking dumb. And I didn't know anything. And in a sense that's true because my general knowledge about things, like just say geographics, it's like total crap. And I couldn't care less about that stuff. But I just started to realize that I actually know shit, like shit that could actually help people to increase the quality of their life immensely. It was like kind of shocking to me. Like, you know, when you feel like you saying, when I feel like I say something and I feel like everybody already knows that, and it turns out like people are mind blown, like, oh my god, where did that just come from? How do you know that? And I'm like, yeah, that's just basic shit, isn't it? But no, it's not. It's not basic shit. And the reason I'm not talking about all these things, I don't even want to go into detail about those things, what that all encompasses. But like when I do that, I feel like I sound like a broken record. Like I constantly repeat myself and everybody's already sick and tired of hearing that stuff. And turns out that's not true. That's just my assumptions about other people. Which is very similar to opinions. I just wrote a couple of posts on opinions. If you haven't read them, I highly recommend you checking them out. Yeah, and also the other realization I had, besides the fact that there is still some residue of fear, like when I go live on Facebook, that people are gonna laugh about me or even just like completely fucking ignore me, is that this whole thing about voice training or using your voice in a way that, say when you're a singer, you need to warm up your voice. You can't just go on stage and start singing. And that's the same for me when I do a Facebook Live. When I just put on the camera and I start talking, it takes me like a good couple of minutes to even get into that vibe. And it's like jumping into a pool with ice cold water and then just freezing my ass off, and like after 3 minutes of moving, I'm finally getting warm and getting comfortable with the space where I'm at with talking. And I realized that I really need to warm up my voice when I want to do a Facebook Live and talk about something or just talk. Otherwise it just feels really awkward to myself, and for the longest time I couldn't figure out what that all was about. So yeah, I really felt like this needed to go out into the public eye or the public ear, so to speak. If you're wondering what that little brownish grey thing over there is, that's an elephant. Not a dead one. It's a cuddly toy elephant. He's a bit smelly, so that's why I'm not bringing him on camera. It would be very embarrassing for him. And people might laugh about him as well. Or find him just fucking cute, but you gotta wait for next time for that. So yeah, I can hear shit in your voice, and my intuition just got ramped up extremely over the weekend. A lot of things happened. And I'm here to offer my services, and I put out so many different offers, that I did not lose track of them, but it's like there are so many things I want to do, and it feels like I need to make my mind up about one particular thing, and that totally does not work, because there are so many things. Like, I love talking about sex, I love talking about voice, I love talking about your relationship with yourself, I love being really silly and playful and just bring that into everyday life. Like, when people first meet each other and they feel like this need, or that's how it's supposed to be, or there's this rule that when you meet someone for the first time that you're making fucking small talk. It is so fucking boring. Like, how can we just make that more fun? Like, more fun, isn't that what we all want? Like, show me one person who doesn't want more fun in their life. I dare you. I fucking dare you. So yeah, there's that. And sexuality in and of itself, and the whole thing about, it's not about sex, it's about play. You have to drop all your personality shit and your stories you have about yourself in order to go into that voice space where anything is possible. And that, bringing that into like everyday life, that is like the kind of vision that I recently had. Even though I never considered myself a visionary, I always felt in my bones that I'm here for a bigger reason. And it feels like all these things together are that. There's not just one thing, like one vision I have. I couldn't possibly put that into just one single sentence. And I could go on talking for hours and hours and hours, and I don't know who's watching there. It still says there's one person watching. If you want to say anything, now is the time, okay? It's always just now. There is nothing else. Yeah, but if any of that speaks to you and you want to know more, or you want to chat with me, and you want to hang out and explore something about yourself in a deeper way, just send me a message. It's that fucking simple. And yeah. Good night, freak bitches.